ibuprofen or something after that one. No, I'm really proud of our guys. My staff had to remind me that we enjoy wins because it didn't feel like a enjoyable win, to be honest with you, walking off the court there with my frustration as to how we finished the game. And then they were also quick to remind me that, our job is to help these guys, is to teach them and to prepare them. And we got a lot of guys that have just never been in those types of situations, right? And they just don't have the experience, to finish it perfectly, okay? Well, they will now, and it was great for us to be able to finish that with a win because that could have been a very hard lesson to sit up here and talk about after a loss. So I'm very thankful that we were able to win that. Thought our defense, first shot defense, was just phenomenal, the best that it's been in a long time. Holding them to 22% in the first half. You force 17 turnovers for a team that doesn't press and doesn't get too extended and talking about us. So that we just did a good job of playing physical. We did not do a good job on the offensive glass. I was, disappointed with that because we gave up 12 offensive rebounds in the first half, but there was only 5 second chance points, so it could have been much worse. But I thought we did a great job controlling the pace, and that's going to be important for our team moving forward. I think we have an opportunity to be an electric transition offensive team, but we got to be more selective because we get in too big of a hurry and we don't necessarily attack strategically, and we'll have some turnovers that don't really reward our defense. We cut down on those tonight. We only had a couple of them, and so that was a big difference in the game and us being able to control the tempo and keep them out of transition as well.
You talked about the offensive glass, and it seemed like early on their strategy was kind of, get their hands on it, tip it out, and maybe get a long offensive rebound. Did you guys kind of adjust to that? Because they did get some boards that way, but didn't necessarily get baskets. And like you said, and Mark even kind of got his hand on one and got a layup out of it. Were you guys able to adjust to what they were trying to do as far as hitting the offensive glass?
Yeah, I think it brings up a great point about our defense, right? We did a really good job of being tight, okay, and forcing jump shots, okay? They take, 21 threes in the first half, okay? They only take 14 twos, and I would venture to say probably 7 of those, if not more, were tough contested dribble pull-ups, right? So, the old adage, long shot, long rebound. And so we just didn't do a great job of just, hitting first. We did a little bit of ball watching, which is a huge no-no. And they played volleyball and knocked it to each other, and we didn't do a great job with it. But when we did finish those possessions, because of how aggressively they did go to the offensive glass and they gave themselves poor floor balance, we were able to, get those 50-50 balls and turn them into points. And that's what really broke up the first half for us. The adjustment, do your job and rebound, right? It's probably what we'd tell every kid who's out there playing basketball, so just do it a little bit better. But again, I thought we did a great job, first shot defense and keeping them out of the paint, forcing tough contested shots. Just got to do a little bit better job. And let's, same thing for us, right? If you're going to get offensive rebounds, it's typically going to be off of your threes. So there was a few more opportunities for them to be able to fly in from the perimeter to get those.
And when you see or hear the whistle blow with 2 seconds again a week later, what was going through your mind when that play's happening?
I just had a flashback when you said that. I almost blacked out up here doing the media. Man, I was mad. I ain't gonna lie. I was really mad. Now I'm happy, and I'm happy because we get to look at these guys and say, would you please listen and do exactly what we tell you to do? Don't do your version of it, right? We told the guys, you're not going to believe this, Shane. We said, listen, don't get near them. Do not even think about contesting a shot. Do not contest a shot. We had 3 guys contest a shot. I couldn't tell you who they are. They probably were setting up here. It's probably why we had them do media, because you wanted to ask all 3 of them why you fouled a guy. Should have gave him 7 free throws, as bad as we fouled them, okay? But, God, I love those guys. I just wish they'd listen a little better, and maybe after learning from that one they will. They're kids. They're not robots. And I go back to the beginning of this. We got a bunch of guys that have never been in those situations, right? We say, hey, this guy came from this school and this guy did that. It doesn't mean he was on the court and in these types of situations, so they got to learn through that kind of stuff. And you know, I don't think I should share where my mind was on that when that whistle blew, because it's probably not great.
I'm gonna focus on the positive with
There
this
you
next
go.
one. Yeah.
Thank you.
So,
Take
yeah,
that microphone from Shane, then.
No problem. I mean, last week across 2 games, your team only had 13 assists, and tonight they had 11 alone. Is that the type of improvement you were kind of hoping to see from this offense?
It was. You know, we did not play together. On either side of the ball, but we certainly didn't share it. You know, we played down there the other day and had 5 assists. That's really hard to do, and we just didn't share the ball. And so we took the good parts of our offensive game plan that we did down there. And we took care of the ball, and I thought we just did a better job of driving and not taking tough shots and kicking it out to each other and really just sharing and making the easiest play. We did a better job moving without the ball. We call those second cuts and making yourself available. But we just had a more of a servant's mindset today to say, hey, we're gonna make each other better. And you know, that's we got to be more consistent with that. But we had 9 assists in the first half. That was, you know, we only had 13 assists all of last week. It was unbelievable, right? That's a bad number. So 11 tonight. We didn't get as many in the second half, but certainly a big difference sharing the ball like we're capable of.
You were talking a little bit at the beginning of this week about, you know, the home crowd adds, you know, it helps you guys with a couple of possessions. And, you know, when you look at last week, 2-point loss, this week a 1-point win, do you feel like the home crowd really made the difference tonight?
I do. You know, this place is unbelievable. Like, it's just so much fun to play. The crowd coming out, they get into it. It is absolutely electric, and I'm incredibly thankful for it. We're going to need it on Saturday as well. Go ahead and plug that one. But, you know, maybe we could get with the marketing group and get a microphone that, you know, get the crowd chanting things like, don't foul. That'd be great, right? And our guys would probably be like, what in the world are they saying? But, no, they make a huge difference for sure. We're very thankful for them.
I know I asked you earlier in the week if you guys were kind of viewing these as get-back games, considering you guys just played them. Is it, now that like you have one down with the win tonight and then you got App State Saturday, are you guys kind of treating these as like must-win games?
No, I wouldn't say that. You know what I mean? I don't think we ever want to give ourselves an ultimatum, right? It's just a one day at a time. I will say, you know, normally I don't reference the Saturday game after Thursday, but the way that we lost both of those games last week, I brought it up. And I reminded them of the feeling that we had when we were down there. You know, when we lost that game, the halftime conversation that we had, the postgame conversation, the long bus ride through the snow belt, and you know, to get back here with that loss. And so I do want our guys, I want them thinking about that. I do want us to enjoy wins. I'm never going to go back on that. But at the same time, I want them to go to bed tonight thinking about the feeling that you had last Saturday, so that we wake up and we've got a very focused mentality coming in here to get ourselves prepared.
I mean, you look at Mark, obviously offensively, he didn't have his best night, 1 for 7, 5 points, but he picks up 3 steals. And I know that you talked about early in the week, a lot of times when guys weren't hitting their shots, you felt like the defensive side of the ball was also starting the ball. What did you see from Mark as far as just staying active and staying hungry on the defensive side?
That's a great point. And I think that was pretty consistent with everybody, right? But obviously a huge discrepancy from 30 or 31 points to 5, and it was just a different type of game. But he got 4 assists. You know, you mentioned the steals, and he gets in there and mixes it up and gets us a couple big rebounds. And so I thought he played a really good game. I thought he did. And it was important that he found a way to impact the game, that it wasn't going to be with scoring. And that's probably what it is once you get into league play, certainly when you're playing a team for the second time around. I can't imagine anybody in this league is going to let a guy go for 30, you know, 2 times in a row. So that's what good players do. They find ways to impact winning, even if it's got to be something different and other than scoring the ball. And certainly exactly what you said, that's a great point about not allowing your offense or lack thereof to dictate your focus, your intensity, your toughness on the defensive end. And I thought Mark led us in that area, but it was contagious amongst everybody else.
Just a quick one for me. What is it about Ebenezer when he comes in the game? You guys seem to always find him on an alley-oop. It's like one or two a game. It's like you can take it to the bank. What is it with him? And just he seems like he's always open on those plays and opens for him.
Yeah, well, he jumps higher than everybody else. That helps. It helps a lot, right? And so, no, I mean, EB's doing a great job, and really proud of him tonight because, it was a hard game at Marshall with their switching and things like that. And so we kind of spent some time preparing him and Elijah both, with their angles on their ball screens and exactly what we're going to try to get. They changed their coverage up in this game. But he puts a lot of pressure on that rim when he's really good, sprinting into his screens, popping his feet, having a great angle, and then rolling hard. And we want him to have a lob mentality, at all times. And I think he even got a dunk on a putback rebound here tonight off of an AJ miss, right, which was huge. So EB gave us some great minutes and proud of him. But, I think that's certainly, the types of plays we can get from him that we're probably not getting out of Elijah, but play a little bit differently when Elijah's in there. And so our guys are doing a pretty good job of being able to shift through, what our identity offensively is going to be depending on which big is in there.
There was a play in the second half, Coach was bringing it up, and right after he got past midcourt, he kind of got close to the bench area. And I don't know if you remember this, but you came onto the court and you moved him.
Oh, yeah?
Is that part of the play?
I do not recall that play. Is it part of? Is it not allowed? I don't know. It's probably frowned upon, right? You probably shouldn't do that. Got to get guys in their positions where they got to be. I'll tell you this. I probably was thinking what we were doing, in practice the past couple of days, right? I really felt like, to be honest, the difference in the game at Marshall was the 50-50 balls. We got beat 7-1. 7-1. They beat us to the floor. So that wasn't going to happen. And as coaches, like, my hip hurts bad right now. I got to go get treatment from Corey because I demonstrated how to dive for a loose ball with these guys the right way. And it hurts, okay? And our staff did it, and our players did it. And I said, we're not going to get beat on loose balls anymore. And so that was the difference in the game for me. So, if I got to get out there and get a guy in his spot every now and then, it's what it takes. Thank you. Go Dukes.